In this series of videos, I'm going to show you how you can add an item to your Blackboard course, how you can add a file to your course, and how you can add a URL to a web link to your course. Let's start with adding an item. You're going to need to go into a content area in your course, and now you have one that is called content, and then you're going to make the following choices. I have an area that I have renamed course materials, but it's a content area. And when you go into your content area, you'll see that you have 4 menus now to build different things in your course. This is where we're going to focus in this video, is in the first pull down menu. We're going to look at the difference between an item and a file, and then we're also going to look at a URL. There will be other tutorials for the other things, but feel free to mess around with them and learn on your own. I'm going to go into building an item. Now, I need to say that an item is meant to have a on-screen piece of content for your students, as opposed to simply uploading a document that your students need to download and either print or view on their own machine. An item has a place for you to title it. It has a place for you to add rich text as well as images if you want to, upload them. And you can change the font size, and do really beautiful formatting if you wanted to put something in here that was really meant for your students to read on the screen. It is possible when you're adding an item that you can browse to your computer and additionally attach something. So not only will the students have something on the screen that may be possibly a summary, you might attach the document that has additional information. You do want to make it available now, although you can turn it off and come in and manually turn it on later if you're pre-building your course and there are things you don't want your students to see yet. If that is the case, you do have the option also of setting the day for it to turn on and the day for it to turn off, and you can use these in concert with one another or just pick one to use. Tracking the number of views will allow you to later go in and see when certain students looked at this content. Let me show you what a completed one looks like. I built an item that has a title, and in my case I made it something very basic, an item. I also uploaded a document, and then I put some text for the students to see, and I added a picture. So my item has some on-screen value for my students. If I want to see what it looks like for the students, I select this in the upper right corner. There's an edit button like a light switch. I'm going to click it. I'm going to turn the editing feature off, and now my page has switched to what it would look like for my students. This is a really nice new feature, so if you're wondering how are they going to see it, you no longer have to fumble around trying to figure that out. The button will turn the edit mode on and off. So that's how you build an item. And again, I was in a content area. I selected the button that says Build Content, and from that list I chose Item. I had to name it. I chose to describe it in the text area. I could, in that description, put images and other items. Attaching files is optional. The availability is optional, and in the availability you have date options. The next thing is similar but not the same, and that is adding a file. This is in the instance where you do in fact want to put something for your students to click on and download onto their own machine. Now whatever you put here, whatever kind of a file you attach, the students have to have the same software on their machine in order to see it. So again, you're going to go into Build Content, but this time you're going to choose File. You'll see that your choices are less. In this case, you can browse to your computer to find it. You can name the item, but there's no place for you to do any sort of description. It simply creates a link to download the item to your computer. Let me show you what one of those looks like completed. This right here is an attached file. The icons are slightly different, and when I select this, it's going to bring up on my screen a download, and now the student downloads this and decides where it goes. So adding an item and adding a file are similar, but they are different. In the next video I'll go over adding a URL.